come see me. I'd like to draw your attention to something. All done. Should I take care of this now? All done. Should I take care of this now?
There was something wrong with her. I saw it. And I didn't do anything. Wait, what the hell happened to her? What does it look like? She's gone. Molly's gone. What? But why? I mean, no, that's not possible. There was never any problem with her.
I came to see her like I did every day, and she was just lying motionless, cold and stiff. That's just unthinkable. Such an innocent little being.
At least her life had meaning. She will be remembered as the first living organism ever to be created with the use of rubidium.
Now it's just us. She was our loyal companion on this journey. Let's at least honor her with a moment's silence. Here, here.
Should I remind you that we are in the kitchen? The place where food is prepared? The longer this The longer Molly is lying around in here, the higher the risk of contamination.
Shouldn't we be worried about the contamination that might have ended her?
Let's just decide what to do quickly and get back to work. This is taking too much time.
You know what's the best thing about sheep? They're humble and simple. I don't think Molly would want us to make a fuss over her. I can tell you how I like to go, with fireworks.
Still, we are talking about corporate property here. I say we put her in the freezer and take her back to Earth. Allied Corp scientists might be interested in her. But it's your call, Jan. You're the captain. What do you think?
Let's pack her up for the journey home and see if any of us make it. No. We can't do that.
What? Why not?
Don't you all remember what they said at training? If any member of the crew dies for an unknown reason, it is the duty of the scientist on board to carry out a post-mortem without delay.
Member of the crew?
She was a live being, and her cause of death is unknown. We should find out what really happened. We owe it to her, and to ourselves.
And it's a mandatory procedure. Let's do it. Let's perform an autopsy and see what we can find out. All right? I won't argue with procedures. Hey, I took a closer look at our obstacle. It looks like something is distorting the gravity field around here. Good thing our base stopped, or we'd just be floating around in the air like those rocks. Amazing. The sheer scale of it. I wonder if it's related to the interval. Yeah, this planet, so full of mysteries. It's almost a shame we need to get out of here in a hurry. I can take the pressure, don't worry. But we can't expect to deal with a problem if we don't understand it properly. How do you suggest we go about it? We'll need to start by collecting more data about the field distortion characteristics. The base should have blueprints for a device called a gravity sensor. Once you craft it, it needs to be placed somewhere high to cover as much ground as possible. We're in a canyon, right? So maybe a ledge somewhere high up would be good. I'll mark potential spots on your map. Okay, I'm on it. You're never gonna believe what I found. Let me guess. A time-distorting anomaly? What? How did you know? Well, considering the presence of this huge gravitational anomaly in this area and Frankov's calculations, I expected you to stumble upon one sooner or later. As you know, differences in gravitational potentials create the effect of time dilation. So, I just connected the dots. You could have done it as well, had you taken the time to stop and think. I guess I was too busy discovering it. Of course, the credit is yours. Now, tell me more about it. Well, when I got inside this thing, it just, slowed me down while... All around you, time seemed to speed up? Yeah. What a discovery, Jan. This is just getting more and more fascinating. Well, it's pretty hard to get rid of. The closer I get to its core, the more time I lose on the outside. Yes, but you're also approaching the center of its gravity, which means that the core should slow down and be an easier target. Huh. Interesting. I'll think about that. Thanks. You wanted to discuss something? Yes. That moron who amputated his arm for no reason. Can you believe it? At a moment like this, we can't afford to have unproductive crew members on board.
Not much we can do about it now.
Well, we have to do something. And that's why I wanted to talk. I could fit him with a prosthetic arm.
That's a great idea. Don't get beside yourself. It's a standard procedure in such cases.
Of course, I'd need a little time to tweak the details. Just assign the task to me and I'll know what to do. Have no doubt. If we want to meet our targets, we'll need a miner on top form.
You're afraid. I can see that.
Afraid? I'm not 6.
Right. Still, I'd like to make sure you feel comfortable, so... what can I do?
Well, since you're asking, promise me you know what you're doing as captain.
Of course I know what I'm doing. Just follow my lead and you'll be okay.
Okay, man. I trust you. take care of this now?
You wanted to talk about something?
Yeah, our one-armed friend. I've heard the scientist wants to give him a prosthetic arm to make him more productive.
Yeah, and make his life easier.
You seriously concerned about how he feels? Because if you are, then you probably realize he didn't self-harm for no reason, and a prosthetic won't necessarily solve the problem.
What are you saying?
You might want to consider a different solution, more sophisticated and compassionate.
Compassionate?
Yeah, well, I was thinking Rapidium speeds up organic growth, right? And since you created us, our whole bodies from just a DNA sample, can't you use the same technology to recreate a single limb?
Oh, sure, so that the miner can just cut it off again?
And what if he doesn't? Look, I know he felt that pain before, but what if this time you gave him his arm? One that would feel like a part of him from the very start. Show him that you believe he deserves a second chance.
How can you be sure the pain won't come back?
I can't. But something tells me it won't, because the problem is not really in his arm.
All right, I'm listening.
The poor bastard's insecure as hell. Changing that would be a big deal.
And how would you go about it?
I'm sure the scientist could figure out a way. He's too efficiency-driven to commit to it, but I know you could push him to make the extra effort.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about the miner's arm again.
What's there to talk about? The solution is simple. A prosthetic arm.
I was thinking, what if we try to use Rapidium to grow it back?
Now, why would we want to do that?
To find a more compassionate solution to his problem. It might not be about the arm at all, but about his insecurities.
Remind me, are we here to mine Rapidium or to humor insecure individuals?
So, you're telling me you can't do it?
I didn't say that. All I said is that a prosthetic arm is a quick and reliable solution. This treatment you suggest is time-consuming and highly unpredictable. Not to mention we'd be wasting rupidium. But of course, I can cope with any task you assign to me. It's your call.